What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Blue River Bow Hunting Podcast, episode 97. Dylan, what's going on, brother?
Dude, hoping you send some of that snow down my way.
No, you don't want none of this snow, bud. I about threw my back out earlier shoveling the driveway. I'm kind of one of them dumb Midwest guys that doesn't have the snow blower. I mean, I don't have a whole lot to shovel anyways, but the time I got done with, I was wearing my waders because it's like 5 degrees outside. I got all my heavy coat and stuff on. I was sweating like I just ran a marathon after shoveling the driveway.
Yeah. You sent me that picture of all that snow, and I was like, yeah, that'd snow us in for a couple days for sure.
Yeah, Tennessee would be under the mountain. Nobody know where anybody was at.
Yeah, we'd be shut down for a while.
Well, our guests this week are Zach and Weston Sloan from Michigan, Mid-State Outdoors guys. What's going on, guys?
What's going on?
Nice
to see you guys. It's been a while.
Yeah, episode 49. I had to look because I knew you'd been on here a couple times. And it's kind of where we met and became friends, was having you on for the first time.
Yep.
Kind of funny. You had just got back from ATA, which I'm about to jump into tomorrow myself. Episode 49, but like I said, you're gonna have to hit me up a little more. 97 to 49.
97. Yeah.
All right. Need you to pump them numbers up a little bit, bud.
That's what I said. Been waiting patiently, man.
No, I'm glad to have you guys on and let Weston talk about his deer. I mean, that's a pretty cool thing, buddy. Yeah, you got is it your first buck with a bow, or is it your first deer with a bow?
My first
deer with a bow, basically.
First deer with the bow. That's cool. I mean, it was a heck of a buck. I know you talked about in your video you had was it you missed a couple days before that or so before you got that one?
It's about a week before that. He missed like another really good 8-point, actually. Probably 120-inch 8-point. I seen him later that season or whatever. That one was actually a little bit of my fault. He came in and came straight. Well, we waited forever. He was out at like 40 yards just feeding. And then he came across in front of us at like 15 yards from the shack. And he's on him, but it's such a, you know what I mean? It's such an angle to get out the window. He started getting by, and I was like, you on him? And he's like, yep. And I was like, do you want me to stop him? Which I should know better to ask a 7-year-old, like, hey, should I stop this deer for you? I should have just let him walk by. But he's like, yup. So I'm like, stopped. And you could tell, like, right when I stopped the deer and the deer like stopped and looked, he like panicked, you know what I mean? So he's on it and then just, whatever, but live and learn.
Yeah, don't feel too bad, Weston. I'm 35 years old and I missed a deer with a gun this year, which is even worse than a bow.
Yeah. He missed one with a gun this year.
Yeah, it went over top it.
What's that? Yeah.
And I wore it out on accident.
Yeah. Yep.
It happens, buddy. It happens to the best of us. You can't say that you're a hunter if you haven't missed one or two out there in the woods at one point or another.
Yeah. I missed one this year too, so it's just our club to be in this year, I guess.
You're right. Weston, talk about hunting in Papaw's shack. You seem like have a pretty good luck streak in that shack, which I know all about that shack because I broke a curse of turkey spell of about 4 years in that same food plot.
Yeah, one day we found something in the field. It was
What's that?
You know the UC.
Oh, that was bad. He's talking about at Papa's. Not great for Grandpa's. Because this year, when me and him were hanging cameras here behind the house or whatever, and my grandpa's woods, he was thinking you were asking. We actually, the horseshoe or whatever, I think I told you about it. It was the craziest shit ever. But
yeah.
But no, he's talking about at Papa's. He's the one that's got the luxury to hunt there all the time. You know what I mean? I ask, and Dad's like, no. What? I'm like, hey, Luke wants to go hunt. He's like, go ahead, take my shack. I'll go somewhere else tonight.
That's awesome, man. That seems like a pretty good little honey hole for you, buddy. What do you think?
Seen a lot of bucks, didn't we?
Yes.
How many bucks did you pass this year?
A lot. Well, some a decent point.
Yeah. So the goal this year, last year he shot his first buck. It was actually in gun season or whatever. I made him wait. He went hunting with me a lot in bow season or whatever, but I was like, you can wait, dude. You're good with your gun. We'll take you out. We shot a 5-point for his first buck last year. So as you know, we kind of got brought up like, hey, next buck's got to be at least a 6-point or bigger. And that was the goal for this year, is 6-point or bigger. We go out there and the kid, like, we go out the first day and he's obviously fired up just like we are.
Right.
And this buck comes out, first buck out. He's like, I want to shoot it. And I was like, hey, I said, if that thing fires you up and you want to shoot it, go ahead. He stands up, gets ready, and I was like, just look at it, though, dude. It's not much bigger than that one you shot last year. And I know you said at the start of the year you want to shoot a big buck this year. And he was like, looked at it again. Never mind, I don't want to shoot it. Well, then we're like going back and forth all the time because I'd have like a decent, probably 80, 90-inch 8-point. I'm like, damn nice buck for him, 2.5-year-old deer. Heck yeah, dude. It's your second deer. I'm like, you should shoot, you want to shoot that one? No, it's not big enough. I'm like, what, dude? Come on. Get in there. So, but like I said, then he's just a lucky charm anyways because, like I said, the only 3 shooters I would say are shooters I seen with him. You know what I mean? This year.
Yeah.
So, and he's behind the weapon, obviously. I'm going to let him do it. So.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But he passed, no bullshit, probably 15 bucks. Like, I'm not,
We passed a 7-point.
Yeah. There was a weird, 7-point hit. Not really that weird, but he had, a busted off G2. And he was actually, to the tips of his ears, like a real decent buck. I'm like, shoot him. No, I don't want to shoot that one. I'm like, dude, what are you waiting for? Well, then, last time out, here comes this buck. I'm like, what? I can't have that kind of luck, but hey, I guess if he does.
So play his hunt out a little bit. Tell us how it all played out that day for you guys.
All right, let's think here. We shot that buck on the way back from racing, right? Because didn't we rush out there?
Yes.
Yeah. So I took him to a race that morning. We're all the way northwest side of the state or whatever. We're 2 hours from home. And I was like, man, we should have just took the day off and just went hunting. That's awesome out, I was like, well, maybe if today goes good and, he was riding the big track at that time. So I'm like, if you get first through fifth moto, I was like, maybe we can make it back and we can get out this afternoon. So me and him hammer back home or whatever. I'm like, you want to go on? And, we get closer to home. He's like, yep. I'm like, sweet. So we get home, throw all of our stuff on.
I got a little tired.
Yeah, you got a little tired? Yeah. Took a little nap on the way home. So we're, almost home. I wake him back up. I'm like, you want to go or what? He's like, yeah, I want to go. I'm like, okay. So we hurry up, get home, throw all of our stuff on, throw everything in the truck. Sneak up out there. I'm like, man, it's a little bit later than I would like, obviously, but we'll see. So we get out there, don't spook any deer on the way in. I'm like, oh, that's good, Climb up in there. He's kind of just kicked back, relaxing. And, he's looking out every now and again. We had some does work out. They kind of worked out. Dad kind of changed how his food plot's set up. He actually extended that because he's got grass out there now. That whole field is not crops anymore. He actually did a wetlands program, so it's all CRP type stuff out there now. So we actually extended that food plot out so you can shoot about 100 yards. That food plot's extended from what it was. So all them does kind of worked out into that piece, and I looked over, little buck comes on. I'm like, hey, Weston, there's a buck out here, and he looks, yep, pass. So I don't know, it's probably 10 minutes later, 3 does popped out. How that point is in Dad's food plot. They came right out of that point or whatever. 3 does came out, and the last one stopped, looked back. I was like, all right, there should be a buck behind her. And I'm kind of telling Weston I had that feeling all right, I think something's about to happen. So I'm like, dude.
I know, I got a good feeling.
Yeah, I was like, get serious. Get serious, dude. And I looked back right when I said that, and I turned back. I looked, and I seen the antlers coming. I said, dude, shoot her buck. Get up, get ready. We're not messing around. So before I even look back, I always tell him move slow though, because I don't want you popping up, and scaring deer.
That 8 or 9 point, you fought it at 8 point, or you're going to run away.
Yep. So he stopped. He gets up and he's on the crossbow, and he's right on the deer. By the time I basically told him, he's already on the deer, and I'm like, oh, sweet, man, he's ready, And at this point, I think at that point I'm filming at this time. So I'm filming deer come out, man, and it came to a stop. And I'm like, fuck this film. I got to like help him. You know what I mean? I got to talk him through this. I'm worried about filming.
Right.
So I set my camera down on the ground, and then I'm like, are you on him, dude? And I'm like, grab my rangefinder, and I'm ranging the deer. And when me and my dad first had him start practicing with that, we're like 30 yards max. We're doing 20, 30-yard shots. That's it, nothing farther. So I range this deer, and I'm like, it's 38 yards. I'm like, oh, man. I was like, I don't know. Like, it's pretty far. And I'm thinking about it. I'm looking at him, dude, and he's just lasered, like, on this deer. And I'm like, I can't not. Dude, he's good with this, and I trust him at that. It's just like, you know, with him missing that one and all that, I was kind of being negative about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, you got to let him try. You know, so this deer starts stuffing again. I'm like, I got to make a decision if I'm going to let him do it or not. Like, this is going to happen fast. So at this time, I'm like, okay, now I can film again. He's on the deer. The deer stops and is standing there feeding. And I'm like, okay, this is good. So I grab my camera, start filming again. And I'm like, I got to help him on that crossbow. Like, the safety's so hard to get off. There's like 2 knobs that you got to like push up, and it's pretty hard to snap. So he's trying to get it off. So I reached around, snapped it off for him. I'm like, all right, dude, don't lay your finger on there. Or I said, you can rest your finger on there. Just don't squeeze. You know, safety's off. Stay ready. So he's on the deer, and the deer kind of just like opens up for him. He like puts his one leg forward. And I'm like, hey, dude, whenever you're ready, I said, go and shoot. And I was like, you're on him, right? You're on him. He's like, yo. So I'm like, okay. So I'm kind of messing around with my camera. I'm zooming in, and I start zooming out. And then I'm kind of like, dude, it's been like 10 seconds. I'm like, I just go, like, I zoom back on the deer, and I just like look over to be like, hey, what are you doing? And wow, and it goes off. And it like scares the shit out of me. I got my camera like this, like you can tell in the video if anyone watches it, like the limb's like right here, and my camera's right here. Like, I didn't have much room. So by the time all this happened, I didn't see where the arrow hit, if he even hit the deer, which it sounded good, and
I couldn't even see the arrow too.
Yeah. So it takes off out of there and like goes in about where me and you set for turkey on, cuts back out, and I can hear it, and I thought I heard it crash, but I'm like, I don't know. You know, don't want to get all fired up about it. I don't want to excite him, but I don't want to be negative. I don't know what to do, basically. Right. So I'm like, let's just sit here. We're going to sit here for a little bit. Because I'm asking him, obviously, like he's going to know. I'm like, do you hit it? I don't know. I'm like, he's like, I think so. I'm like, do you know where? No. I'm like,
I couldn't see it because I own the scope.
Too excited. I don't blame him.
No.
So we kind of just sat there and waited, I don't know, 45 minutes, an hour. And I'm like, all right, start, you know, we shot him early, you know what I mean? It was still early. We still had an hour and a half till, you know, dusk. And I'm like, all right, let's get down while we can see good. Get out here. Let's see what we have for blood. Let's, you know, find the bolt. Let's see what everything looks like.
We found this much blood.
Yep.
Well, then it get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yep. So right where he shot, I found a piece of hair. You remember that?
Yeah,
That had some blood on it. I was like, all right, you hit him, dude. I was like, sweet. I'm like, all right, let's find some more blood. So I knew exactly where he went in. I just, you know, it was like happened so fast, you know. So I'm like, I had it pinpointed in my head, like I know he went in that trail. So we got over to that. I didn't find one speck in between where he shot in that trail. But you know how it's like that taller kind of grassy, cactilly type stuff right there.
Right.
So I get to that trail, and I'm looking down it. I'm like, man, there is no blood. And I look down, and there was one pin drop, and then I could see up another, I don't know, probably 10-ish yards. I could see one more brush on a piece of grass. And I'm like, man, I said,
you didn't fall. I killed it.
yeah. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Right.
I'm like, all right, dude, this is not looking good. You know, there's not much blood. I said, what we're going to do, we're going to give this deer some time. And I'm trying to explain to him, listen, you know, we don't want to bump this deer. So I said, let's climb back in the blind. Let's call Papa. Let's see, you know, what time he wants to start, blah, blah, blah. Well, he was in the back of the woods hunting. He's like, and obviously it was prime. So he's like, I'm going to sit till dark. I'm I'm like, all right, that's no problem. Weston, he's like, oh, I want to go.
I want to go now.
Yeah. And I'm like, me too, dude. I'm telling him, I was like, me too, dude. I want to so bad. I was like, that's such a nice buck. I'm just playing it back in my head. I'm rewatching the video. I'm just like, dude, that's a hell of a buck,
Right.
And so Dad shows up. We go out there. We're trying to find the bolt. I'm like, dude, I looked all over. I could not find it, and them things are so fast. I'm pretty sure what happens with them is things skip off the ground and they just go sailing. So me and Dad and Weston basically follow the tracks that I did. No blood in the food plot. Find the 2 drops, and it's just like pin drops every 10 feet. And we get to a spot where it kind of opens up in there, and it's like, dude, oh my God, I don't know where you went. I'm like, I know for sure that the crash I heard was, to the east here. I said, and it almost sounded like it wrapped around the backside of your pond there. He's like, all right, gives us an idea. Well, we're like, at a certain point, we stopped there in that opening, and I was just like, we're looking all over. And I'm like, we can't find a pin drop anywhere at this point. And I'm just like, man, I'm starting to like doubt it a little. And I'm telling Weston, I was like, just calm down, buddy. We got to take our time here, Sometimes it is tough. And
you still have some time.
Yeah, we got time. So
Absolutely.
I told Dad, I said, let's back out. We got to find this. I want to find the bolt. I want to see exactly what this blood looks like. I want to know, we got to figure out where he hit the steer or anything. I said, I do not want to bump the steer. I was like, if he hit him back far or something goofy, I said, I want to just leave the deer overnight. We'll come back in the morning and go to him. So we go back out. We're trying to find the bolt. And obviously we're kind of like combing in the line that he shot and trying to just kind of sneak on the edge of the woods there looking. I'm kicking stuff around trying to find it. And Dad steps in right there. And and it's like a couple minutes goes by where me kicking stuff around trying to find it. And he goes, hey, I got blood back here. All right. He said, hey. And I was like, you find it? He's like, no, I'm actually on blood right here. It's heading this way. I was like, is it better? He's like, I mean, it's a little bit better. I'm like, okay, cool. So we follow in, go to that. And I'm picking up leaves at this point. Now you're getting decent sized spots of blood, not good blood, but there's at least enough to be able to look at it and be like, okay, it's lung blood. I was like, there is bubbles in this. That's awesome. So it's but it's still every 10, 15 feet, at least it's taken. And it's just drop, drop. We get to another spot and it's kind of opens up right there again. And kind of the same thing as before. We're like, where in the heck is all the blood going? I was like, dude, you had to turn here. I don't see any scuff marks up there. Nothing's going on. I'm like, I bet you he went to the right. Sure as shit, I said that, and Dad had his he had a spotlight too with his flashlight for some reason. And he goes, boop, kicks the spotlight on. I said, shine this way. Just I don't even know why. I just had this thought in my head, shine this way. Look down, he goes, holy shit, dude, there he is. That deer did a hard right. I'm talking stopped on a dime basically and cut hard to the right, and he ended up dying 50 yards from Dad's pond on the end of the food plot behind it.
Yeah.
So at that point in the video is where you see obviously I kind of apologized to all the guys and whatever. And I apologized on our YouTube video. At this point, it was so I didn't know what was going to happen. I was like, I'm not worried about filming. I'm more worried about finding this kid's deer. You know what I mean?
100%.
So I'm so glad looking back on it that I pulled my phone out and at least got that raw, with him and all that. That was super cool. So, but yeah, we seen it. And then you can tell the story. What happened, dude? When we first seen the deer, what did we do?
Hug.
You hugged. But I'm saying, while you're walking up to it, what were you thinking?
I was excited.
I bet, buddy. I'd be excited too.
It was cool, dude. It was awesome. Yeah.
That,
Then we walk up to it, and I told, I wasn't paying that close attention. I didn't realize he even had a split brow when he first came out. I was just shoot it, So we get up to it, and he's counting the points. He's it's a 9 point, Dad. You said it was an 8 point. So that's all I hear about now is you thought it was an 8 point. It was really a 9 point. I'm I don't care what it was.
I'm lucky.
Yeah.
It was a 9 point.
Yeah, it's a cool buck. I told him, dude, you think it's all fun and games? I said, it's hard to kill bucks like that. It's not going to be every year you're going to shoot one like that.
Yeah. I'm not going to shoot a big one.
I bet you shoot a big one soon. You'll probably shoot a big one before I do.
Hey, you'll probably kill one before me too. That's what I said.
All right.
It's like, why didn't you just shoot that deer? I'm like, because I don't really care, dude. If he's with me, it's all about him. I don't really care.
Right. You like hunting with Dad, Weston? I bet you do. I like hunting with your dad too. Tell us about the dirt bikes, buddy. I see you all over Facebook racing dirt bikes and stuff. Tell me all about it.
It was exciting and
tell him. Look at the
It was exciting and fun to ride my dirt bike.
What do you do on that thing? Show them what you do. Yeah.
That's awesome, buddy. Well, buddy, we'll let you get off to bed, and we'll continue to talk to your dad about some deer hunting.
Tell him about the dirt bikes. Tell him about the sponsorship. He sponsored you this year, dude.
Thank you to sponsor me this year.
Yeah, that's awesome, buddy. You're doing a heck of a job. Look, I see all the trophies and medals and stuff you win. Looks like you're doing a heck of a job, man.
I sent him a video of the garage. I said we had to clean some out of his room because his whole room was full.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you were about to tell him that?
Yes.
Yeah, you should see it. Because, like, when he first started this year, obviously it was first year, he started, like, on the small track. So they do up to a certain place. Like, if you don't get a plaque at the top, you get, like, a medal. So they're pretty cool medals. You know, it has, like, track name on it and all that stuff. They're, like, this big. He's probably got, no bullshit, like 40 of them. Like,
that's
some tracks
awesome.
medals. It's dumb. I did, like, an old set of his handlebars that he bought. I like mounted them on the wall in his room and I hung all the medals on them. It's super cool.
That is awesome. I seen your video, your guys' race shop looks pretty cool, buddy.
It does.
Yeah. Oil.
Well, buddy, we'll let you get off to bed. I know it's your bedtime. I know it's my boy's bedtime, and he was just peeking down the stairs, so he better get to bed too.
All right. Good night, buddy.
Hey, good night, buddy. Thank you for coming on and tell us about your deer.
Thank you.
See you, buddy.
See you in the spring.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Turkey hunting?
Yeah, we're gonna go turkey hunting.
We'll get you a turkey too.
Heck yeah. What did that, dude? Nuts. Love you. Good night. All right, good. Take that muscle hat off. Oh yeah. Yeah, you know, that's the thing. My buddies were like, "You're mounting that, aren't you?" I was like, "Hell yeah, I'm mounting that." And then, well, funny thing is, I'm gonna cut back on myself for a second just to tell this story real quick because then I'm gonna
absolutely.
Either way, the deer I shot this year, I was like so in between on mounting it, but I'm like, dude, it's the first buck I've killed off my grandpa's property. He passed away last year. I was like, it's the first buck I've killed off that property in 14 years. And I pass ones like that every year. And I told myself this year, if you even think for a second, like that's going to look decent on the wall, shoot it. So I waited forever, which it helps with him racing. It keeps me out of the woods a little bit more than because I love hunting. I'll be in the wood. Like if you're not keeping me out, you know, if I don't have anything to do. So this year with his racing, it kept me out. And I was like, I'm not going to hunt until after like the 25th. Okay, so I sneak in there. I don't know. It's probably the 15th of October. I'm like, I don't even want to see because I always have giants on camera back here, like really early, like, you know, come in their summer pattern. Mm-hmm. I always have giants back here. I was like, I don't even want to see that this year. I don't want any of that. That just makes it negative back here the whole year. So I said, I'm not hanging cameras until about the 15th, you know, 10th, 15th. I said, I'm going to hang cameras back here and then we'll see what we have to work with. So I had the Buckeye shot back there. And there was another, I mean, about, I would say like score-wise about the same, 8-point, you know. Just a night, like a really nice 8-point, but nothing I really wanted to shoot, you know what I mean? It was 2.5-year-old. But that deer I shot, I was like, I don't know if I want to mount it. I don't know if I want to mount it. And then I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I got a cool, like I did that barrel, or I had that barrel made last year.
Yeah.
Did that. I'm going to take that buck off of that, and I'm going to hang this one on the barrel, and then I'm going to hang that horseshoe underneath of it that I found back there this year, just as like, I don't know.
That's awesome.
So anyways, back to what I'm getting to. I finally made my mind up like, all right, I got to mount this deer, you know. So I'm like, all right, cool. And then he shoots this one.
Taxidermist is loving you.
Oh, my God, dude. And obviously everything's going up. You know,
yeah.
don't even remember what it was this year. I don't know, expensive. I know that.
Yeah, it's getting up there.
700 and I'm pretty sure it was 760. I want to say.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So you got a pretty penny in taxidermy bills this year.
Yeah, it's not like, because when I went, I didn't even ask the price. Obviously, I'm just like, yep, same guy I usually deal with, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Take him over there, and I took I think it took $600 because I'm like, I think the last one I had down there, it was like 6 something. So I'm like, if I take that, hell yeah, I'll have half them paid for. So I walk in, I'm like feeling good about it, and he's like, yeah, it's 760, and I was like, like, dude. So, yeah, I got a little bit to pay for over there still, but I mean, you can't not mount that deer for sure for him. It's pretty cool. He's all excited about it.
Oh, I bet, man. I didn't get anything mounted until I was like 17, I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think, the first 2 I had mounted, I might have been 16. I killed 2 good ones in 1 year, and I mounted both of them, which good ones now and then, whatever. I mean, they still look decent on the wall, but you know what I mean? It's probably not really something I would shoot now. I say that, but I shot one about like them at Grandpa's this year, but whatever.
It's all right. Make hunting great again. We don't need too much pressure on people. We just got to have fun, man.
I was going to say, that's kind of, when we started all the filming and all this stuff, like, I feel like it puts like pressure on you. Like, you're like, I have to shoot big deer now. I have to do this. I have to do that. And I kind of like told the guys last year, I'm like, I don't really care anymore, dude. I'm like, you got to have fun sometimes, too. And it's not fun when you go years and years in a row without shooting a buck. Mm-hmm. Like, I've done it, been there, just like me and you talked about before. I think we've talked about it in the podcast before. Like, that's
probably,
dude, you go 6 or 7 years without shooting a buck. You're like, why am I even doing this anymore? So it's, I feel like it's more fun too now with him hunting, because it takes some of the stress off myself. I'm like, it means more for me to watch him shoot one than it does for me. I mean, yeah, obviously I love shooting bucks, like, and I was jacked right up when I shot that buck. Like, in the moment after I shot the buck, I called Stevenson. I called him off, and I was like, yeah, dude, got one down. I was like, I smoked him. I was like, he had blood pouring. I could see whatever. I was like, it's like 30 some yards. Like, it was a decent shot through the woods. I was like, just feeling good with the new bow. I was like, I'm going to jack this boy. He came across. I had a range, like, where about he was going to cross. And I was like, no, he's getting one. So drew back, let it go, watched the deer go off. And I heard that deer crash too. I was just like, but it was, I don't know. It's still fun. I told Jake, I was like, dude, it's not anything big. It's not anything big. It's like, it's a nice buck, but it's not, obviously anything like we want to shoot, but it's like I always tell everyone, you can only shoot what's on your property. You know what I mean? You can say you're going to shoot 130 incher every year. If there's not 130 incher there, you're going without, So
right.
That's kind of where I've been lately. Like, obviously on Dad's, I passed 5 deer bigger than the one that I shot back here. But it's like, it's crazy to me how I can change my mindset when I'm hunting different spots. Like, not that I like to lower my standards, but dude, to kill a 130 back here, go 10 years, and you might kill one if you get lucky. It's just, and I'm working on that right now, with trying to set it up better for deer hunting. But it takes time, to hold a decent buck in there. I'm hunting pass through deer, and it's not that easy, obviously. I mean, I know the property you hunt's pretty kind of similar to that too. It's hard to hunt them.
Yeah. You talking about setting it up for deer. I think Dylan's kind of mentioned that a few times with his place. Like, yeah, he's putting in all this work with the food plots and all that stuff, and there may be some that's borderline in there, and he's just letting them do their thing and letting them go. And then the next thing you know, he's got 4 of them in there that are 130, and then he's like, I'm just going to let them go again, and then we'll see what happens.
So my property right now back here, I mean, you've been back there. There's nothing there for them really. And I've been slowly opening up the canopy in there, trying to get some stuff to grow. This year, I think I'm actually going to take, like, where we turkey hunted on that ridge, where it drops off that ridge and there's that ditch. On the other side of that, I'm going to take back like 6 or 7 acres of that farm field, and I'm going to plant it all in the CRP. And just, I need some bedding. You know what I mean? I got to get some bedding on this property. And I know for sure if I could get deer to bed there, I can kill them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And there is a lot of potential, you know, especially I think back, like, I'm like, if I keep all the pressure off these deer and I can get them in there in the summer and they feel really, really safe, you know, even if the neighbors are, you know, hunting all their properties right around it, if I can get them deer to lay down there and they have food right there, and you know what I mean, I know I can kill them. It's just, you got to have the property to be able to do it. So
that's with the bedding stuff, I found that because I've put food plots in and stuff, and we done a lot of hinge cutting. Yep. And that took me a little bit to understand, because when you first hear it, you think just half cut it and let it fall. But, yep, you know, you want to do it at like 8 foot so those deer can walk under.
Yep.
But then a guy showed me how to properly do it, and you got to barely cut it to where the tree stays alive.
Yep.
So in the summer, you know,
hard. Yep.
Yes, and we hinge cut a bunch, and then I took about 15 yards of all my fields that butt into it. I just let it get thick as could be, and then I'll ride the 4-wheeler through it once, and then I'll take the lawnmower and I'll cut their trails in. And dude, you talk about insane. They run that like a highway.
And that's kind of what I'm gonna try to do there. You know, I've been doing some hinge cutting back there, and Brett knows the woods in there is just wide open. You know what I mean? It's a bunch of oaks, and like I'm going through right now, dropping all the beech trees because they have such a big canopy. I'm just hammering all them out of there right now, and then all the red oak in there are just such nice straight trees. I'd hate to go in and just wipe them out. You know what I mean? Because sooner or later, hopefully, it's going to bring in some income. You know what I mean? But
right.
Right now, yeah, that's basically what I'm doing. Going through any trees that are not going to be worth anything. I'm basically planning on, like, I'm going to go back there actually real soon. I was just talking about this. Go through, spray paint can, like green, drop it, and then like orange, I want to hinge this tree. And, start like really, really thinking about it when I'm back there, because it's hard. Like, you can picture it in your head, but then when you get back there with the chainsaw, you're like, shit, I don't remember exactly how I had this envisioned. You know what I mean? So I need to just go back there, I think, mark all the trees I want to do it to or whatever, and then just slowly start that. And then where my bedding's where I'm going to set up all this and let it get thick and nasty and, let the grasses grow up. I want to do the woods actually kind of does, it like kicks out right there, and that's actually where the deer naturally come out at. I think I'm going to put in a food plot out there and then put a shack up on the far end of it, so I can gun hunt it, or I might even set it up to be able to bow hunt the edge of that, because with a west wind, it'd be freaking money. I'll get in there. No deer is ever going to see me, getting in there or anything. So and that's the biggest thing with this woods is the access. It's so hard. Like, there's always deer that lay in the woods. So you try getting in there to anywhere inside of the woods and you bump deer every time. It's so wide open.
What about your deer population up there? I know, like, the first time I came up there, and it wasn't anything to see 50 of them in the field, and I'm freaking out because I don't get that around here too much. Is it still that way? You guys still got a healthy herd up there?
Oh, yeah. So it's weird. Like I told you when you're up here. Now, Grandpa's Woods and like this little section doesn't hold that many deer. I can tell you right now, there's 11 does that are living on my grandpa's back here. Like, and I know exactly what ones they are. Honestly, I only seen 3 bucks back here this year, which I didn't hunt it real hard. And obviously there's some stuff that happened, and there's new neighbors hunting, and it's been kind of one of them deals too. But it's slow here, but Dad's is the same. That section over there is crazy. Yeah, you're going to see 40 deer a night normally,
That's insane.
Yeah.
Did I see a 3-legged deer in that video earlier?
Yeah, dude. Dude, it was great. That deer, I seen that deer probably 20 times this year. Gets around awesome. He's sparring in that. I don't know if you can tell.
I know.
Video, he was sparring with a buck. Like, I'm like, what is this deer doing, dude? What? It's the craziest thing, dude. He was like right at, like, basically a nub off his shoulder. I'm just like, how is this deer surviving? And I really haven't hunted Dad's that much though recently to see him, but I know I seen him during gun season. So unless one of the hill rods over there shot him, which could be, but you never know.
What about setups? I know you guys love them shacks up there, which if I had that kind of setups there, I'm sure those shacks work out pretty well. Are you using anything else? I know you're a big fan of like the lone wolf setups and all that stuff. What else are you using?
Well, shit. Matt Spiller, shout out, man. He borrowed me his saddle 2 years ago, and honestly, I killed my buck out of a saddle setup this year.
No kidding.
Yeah, I didn't even tell you that. You would have been proud of me.
Yeah. You did it before. I've been doing it for like 3 years now, and I still haven't done it.
It was honestly, it was like the setup I had was not where I wanted it to be, but it's where I needed to be. One of them setups, like all the trees have no cover. So this tree I was in was not very big at all. It was just like, it was tiny. It's super tiny. I was only up there probably 12 feet. No bullshit.
Nice.
It was like a split. It was split off into 3, but the tree, I can't even explain how small this tree is from that, dude. Like if the wind blew, you were like, oh, like,
I've been in a few of those.
Oh yeah. So, but it was a cool setup because they're 99% of the time, the deer are going to be coming, basically all the time, north to south, and they're going to be, coming to the west of me no matter what. So if I hunted that on my westerly wind, any westerly wind, unless for some godforsaken reason they came across the field from Grandpa's weirdly and came in behind me, which never happens, but I have seen deer do it before. But like I knew this buck, I had a camera over that scrape, and I killed that buck on the second hunt in. I went in the first time, went up the tree, hung my setup, seen a few doe come through there, and I was just like, man, obviously you have high hopes your first hunt in. You're all jacked up. You're like, I know these deer are here. And I was like, I looked, and I was like, the weather is sweet for tomorrow. Like, the wind's perfect, nice little breeze. And I was like, it's supposed to cool off again. So I was like, I'm just leaving everything right in the tree, dude. I'm going to come right back after work, slip up in here, and I'm going to kill that deer tomorrow. Sure as shit, I slip in there, got out of work a little bit early, slip up in the tree, and it was like just a super weird night. The wind kind of died right down to about nothing, and I'm just like, man, I don't know. And it's like as soon as I started seeing deer again, like the wind started, I don't know, it was just like, it was one of that, dude, I had like goosebumps that whole night. I had this feeling like it's going to happen tonight. I don't know. But I'm like, I remember I kept looking like towards my grandpa's. I was like, I just had this feeling, dude. He's going to send one to me. And I'm looking across, man. I look out in the field, and I can like barely see like the corner of his woods from where I'm sitting at. I'm like, oh, there's 2 doe coming, so I'm glassing behind them, looking into the woods. I was like, nothing. So I'm watching these 2 doe come, and they come in, funnel across about 30 yards. I'm like, sweet. And they work up towards the, west again. And they like walk up like the property line. There's a fence in there or whatever. That's what's property line. They're kind of walking that natural trail through there that we caught for like side by side and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, cool. And I'm watching them, and out of nowhere, like I got a perfect west wind. And it's steady, blowing straight out. Nothing's gonna smell me. I watch these deer. They got up, I don't know, probably 100 yards from me, and I seen them both just like, oh, stop, hit the brakes. I'm like, what the hell? So I'm like blasting them, and they're looking like across the woods, and I'm like, that's weird, and I looked, and I'm like, holy shit, there's a buck, and he is I don't know where he came from, what happened, but he's coming, and he's like steady, just coming. I'm like, oh shit, that's that one buck. I was like, oh, I'm shooting him. Grab my bow. Didn't even have time to turn on my camera or anything. I legitimately had time enough to grab the bow while I'm looking at this deer. By the time I got my bow in my hand and got my release on, I had to drew back, and I'm like, yep, right there. Man, stopped him, let it go, shot him. It was like, I was like, how does that even happen? You know what I mean? It was one of them hunts where you're just like, well, that was pretty crazy. Now that that's over, what are we going to do?
How did you like shooting out of the saddle? Did you find it challenging or not really have a problem with it?
Dude, honestly, in that time, shit, it felt natural. Like I haven't really. I practice a little bit, like shooting out of it, but obviously not that much. And I don't know, when it came down, I had it set up perfectly, like, because like I said, I was in that like 3-split tree, and I like just obviously had the platform in the middle one, so I had like cover. So if like deer came through, I could kind of just hide behind them, just kind of
I do that all the time.
just filming behind the tree. But I had it sucked though how it was set up because I couldn't put my camera arm on the right side where it needs to be. So I actually had to have it on the left side, and that was the biggest challenge, was shooting over top of that. But I just, I kicked out away from the tree while he was coming and while I was drawing. He got his head behind a tree, and I just kind of all in one motion and got locked on and was like following him. I don't know. It felt natural. I didn't even think about it at the time. I was just like, the pin settled on him like perfectly. It was one of them ones where you're falling, and right when he stops, it's like right where it needs to be, and you're just like, oh man, just let it go.
You're toast, bud.
Yeah, it was one of them ones where like you let it go, and you're like, yeah, this deer isn't making it far.
That's awesome. Dylan, you think my house is flat land and wide open? Doesn't hold a candle to where these boys are deer hunting. And you see these woods in the video, but it's small parcels, kind of like at my house. But when I say there is zero elevation change, it is a flat, straight surface for as far as you can see. I would find it very challenging to even I'm good at hunting fence rows, but really out there, there ain't even really that many fence rows.
Yeah, that's crazy.
All the farmers, dude, are taking them out. Well, I know why. I mean, everything's so damn expensive. They're trying to get every acre they can, but
Right.
It really, me and Dad's talked about this before, and he's like, dude, back in the day, if you could find a freaking fence row between two woods, he's like, you'll kill a big one every year. He's like, traveling, he's like, it was the best thing ever, but there's really not that many fence rows anymore. It's crazy.
Yeah, same here. That was my bread and butter for years, was exactly what you just said. Fence row in between those two big sets of woods, and especially during gun season with the rut, and you knew there was people going to be hunting those woods. I'd get in there super early, and then before I could, a half hour before I can even shoot, I'm surrounded in this field by deer that have no idea I'm there.
Yep.
But they're cutting them all out here too. Actually, the fence rows that I used to hunt at a particular property over there, they no longer exist. It's a I don't even know, 500, 600, 700 acre field now.
Sheesh.
What about let's see, trips? You have any trips planned for 2025?
Not really. I actually could draw Iowa this year. I think I'm going to be on. I think it's 6 points honestly this year, but my thing is I would really like to take my time when I do that, and I don't want to just go draw and then just run out there and just I want to actually be able to maybe this year go hunt Missouri or something like that, and then go scout while I'm out there or something like that, so I just get a good idea. I don't know. I debated that for a while. When you go to Iowa, you know what I mean? I'm probably not going to go that much. It might be, a one-time thing or something. I kind of want to make it worth it,
That's kind of how I sit with it too. I'm thinking when I do Iowa, I might just do 2 weeks. Just go out there for 2 weeks, maybe camp, some kind of rustic camp setup for a week with a generator or something like that. And then maybe the last week, get an Airbnb, or maybe you're lucky enough to find an Airbnb that's not that bad, where you can maybe strike a deal with them and rent it for 2 weeks at a set price or something like that. But I want to do it with somebody. I want a group of people to go out, maybe rent a house for a couple weeks, or maybe just a whole month where we could just go whenever. I don't know about that drive for you, but it's a freaking haul from here.
Oh, it's gonna, yeah. Shit, it might be farther for me, to be honest.
Yeah, it probably is.
What
about turkeys for this spring? You gonna have the old setup up there again this year?
Oh, I'm sure we're gonna do something.
I don't even care if I just come up and film with you and Weston, try to get him a bird or something. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, we got to do something, I'm sure. I know Jake can't hunt the one property that was super good anymore, but
oh, really?
We obviously there's still birds everywhere. It shouldn't be that hard.
But I mean, I'll hit some public. I mean, I know there's some not that far from you. Do they hit that pretty hard during turkey season up there?
Honestly, I've never paid attention during turkey season if they hit it hard or not. I mean, I do know some people go out there hunting, but I've never like went out and hunted public for turkey out there, so I'm not really 100% sure. We should be able to kill them around. I would say 9 times out of 10 we're going to kill them here. So
right,
we've been doing it, so it shouldn't be that hard.
Going for four in a row. If when's your guys' application period? I always forget about that. Is it already on?
I think you have to get that every year too. I never pay attention.
Right.
You can buy them over the counter 90% of the time, but
I'm just gonna do that then. I think that's what I did last year. Like the day it was available, I went on there and bought it.
Yeah, because there's just different hunts. Remember, because last year it was like in between when you guys got up here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like there's one that's like a lot longer, but it's private land only. I think compared to the public land one too, which is only like a couple weeks.
The ZZ, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep, the ZZ is for basically everything or anything private land, basically. I think.
Yeah. Any shout outs for partners you want to throw out there, bud?
What's that?
I said, you want to shout out any partners? I mean, I was watching your guys' video. I didn't realize how many kind of people that you had teamed up with over the last couple of years. I guess I just wasn't paying attention. Seems like you guys form a lot of great relationships and partnerships with a lot of people up there.
So, like, from the start, obviously, like, when we first started this whole thing, we met Vic and, them guys at ATA, and grateful enough to be able to get in with them guys and, be on the ambassador program for Nexus. And then, honestly, at ATA, same year, Vic kind of hooked us up, got us with Fourth Arrow, and Windset and all them guys.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been with, basically most of them for a long time now. Desperado, obviously, them guys are freaking amazing. As you know, dude, like, I tell them all the time, I'm like, dude, you guys are freaking awesome. He's care packages and just, whatever. He's awesome to work with. We really appreciate that guy. It's like, obviously you love all the support you can get or whatever when you're doing this, any little, offset in cost or whatever, helps throughout the year. We all spend probably a crazy amount of money throughout hunting, buying gear and this and that. And it's just like, I didn't really personally, when he reached out to us and we started the whole thing and all this, you didn't really think that much of it at first until you really you're like, dude, it's such a blessing for us. You think about it, like all your scent products and all that, like how much it really, would cost you throughout the year and how amazing his products actually work, dude. I am like more than impressed. Did you use like all of his stuff this year? Like,
absolutely. Yeah. I used, I can't remember which one it is. The one that Dylan brought me a fresh care package from them guys when he came up for the gun hunt. I can't remember what the estrus one's called.
Yeah, the doe and heat. I told Brandon I was fixing to head to Indiana. Long nose cake. Yep. Whichever the extras is. Yeah, it works amazing. And he sent me a whole big box, so I just took it on up with me. And I was like, Brett, we've hit it now, buddy. We've got what we need. And
Right.
I was using the doe and heat quite a bit. And I had a bucket probably 7-8 yards at the base of my tree, smelling it that I had put on a log. If they can smell it, they're going to come check it out. That's 100%.
Oh, yeah. Did you guys use any of that new kid in town? Or
that's what I was getting ready to say. I put that in so many scrapes this year, and I'm not sponsored or in cahoots with Black Widow, but we used the branch butter. We put the branch butter on, and then the new kid in town inside the scrape on the ground. And dude, like this one buck in particular, it was a really nice 10-pointer on one of Adam's cameras, and he would hit that thing like clockwork. And when he would freshen it up, it wasn't within 6 hours that buck was hitting it again. Like, it was crazy. It was just like, I mean, he was hitting it even, after, kind of that post-rut period, mid-December, he was still hammering that thing. Like, he wanted all he could get out of that thing.
Dude, early season, I did. It was the tree that I killed my buck over. There was a scrape already started there, so I sprayed it, dude. And that's what, like, I swear it was like the next day I had 3 bucks on it, like decent bucks, for back there. I was like, holy shit, they're like, it was like clockwork. And then I did a couple mock scrapes, dude. You should see the inside of that woods right now. It is absolutely demolished. I'm like, I haven't got any pictures of any good bucks, but obviously something's here tearing all this shit up. But that New Kid town, after I seen how like bucks would react to that, I legitly, the night Weston killed his buck, I sprayed some of that underneath Dad's shack. Like, dude, if you get a buck that comes downwind of that stuff, they're like, boom, come right to it. Like, crazy. I don't know,
The Pioneer too, the bedding, the calming bedding. I used that quite a bit too. I had does and stuff walk right up underneath me. I know, and I've in years past, when I talked to Brandon and he offered these products, I wasn't a huge person on scents. I didn't use them a whole lot. I mean, I used like scent killer spray. So when he sent the box of all the stuff, I'm immediately grabbing that stuff. Like, I'm using the shit out of this, see if it worked, and it worked great. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to get outside my comfort zone a little bit and start using some of this stuff. And like I said, that's way out of my comfort range because I never really wanted to mess with that stuff. I didn't want anything to know I was there, period. If it was a new deer, an old deer, me, or whatever, I don't want them to smell anything. So, like, when I first started using it and then seeing the deer's reactions, I'm like, oh, shit, this stuff might actually, give you a little bit of an edge in certain situations, maybe.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, have I had scents kind of screw up on a little bit? Yeah. But 8 times out of 10, man, I've used scents, basically my whole life as far as, like, before he helped us out, I was a strong believer in Evercalm. I used to always do it, but I still say, I'm not knocking anyone else's brands or anything, but his stuff works. I don't,
Oh yeah, I think it should have a confidence booster sticker on the back of it because when I was putting it out, I would text Brett. I'd be like, dude, I'll text you when I can because I've sprayed some of this out. The wind's perfect. It's cold. It's just during the rut, I don't want to go in the woods without it, even if it's 2 or 3 squirts.
Oh yeah.
And I was putting it like, I'm 6'2". I was putting it like eye level, head level with me because we had the windiest deer season I think we ever had. But I'd spray down and I'd put some up top so that it would carry. And I would use his earth scent cover once I got set up, kill my sweat. And dude, I did not, out of all the deer I've seen this year, I didn't get busted once.
No.
And, I climb about 20, 25 feet, so that helps. But, I'm sweating walking in some, so I know I've got an odor.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, that stuff I swear by. I was with Brett. I didn't really, not that I didn't believe in the scent, but I just didn't buy into it because it's something else you got to go get. And then, all this and that. And Brandon's taking care of us on that for sure. Oh. And I play a big, role in being like, yeah, dude, I believe in this because that morning that I killed my big one, he was headed there, If I'd have let him get close enough, I think he would have checked out too. So
I think that the dirt spray, like you were saying, that brought me back to like the old school, like wafers we used back in the day.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And there's actually video proof. There's a video we did this year during bow season called Payback. Adam got busted by this doe and she blew. He couldn't even count how many times because she just stood there for like an hour and just kept blowing and blowing and blowing. And then the next day he goes in and sprays that on his bag, him, boots, everything. He said, I'm going in for payback. That's why I labeled it payback, and he goes in there, he smoked that doe, and she was at 10 yards. I mean, like she was one of them big old nanny does. I mean, it took both of us to drag her out. I mean, she was a big old girl.
Yeah. No, but back to people that's been helping us out. Fluid Graphics too in Owasso there. You know, he does a lot, you know, as far as like he actually did that barrel for me. You know, so he kind of hooks stuff on European mounts and stuff like that. And he's also the one that does the doe pole down there.
Oh, the buck pole?
The buck pole. Yeah, doe pole, Jesus. Yeah, buck pole. He does that, the one that's put on with Young Chevrolet or whatever. He does that. So he's been good to us too. We always give him a little shout out because he's always cool. So
yeah, and I wish people could really understand. You know, you see all these people on social media, and I'm a pro staffer here, and I'm a staffer for this, and I'm an ambassador, blah blah blah. You know, the only real yes, we are ambassadors for Nexus and for their company, but I would say everybody else that I work with, I wouldn't even consider myself an ambassador or a pro staff or anything. I partner with these people, and I know these people. Like, I have phone conversations with these people like once a week. You know what I mean? Like, they're just like, you know, another friend or family to me. You know?
No, it's crazy. Like when you know, like I remember when I first told you, like, yeah, dude, like telling you, and you're like, no way, you know, and then I was like, dude, sign up for it, like, and you're like, no, we would never get in. I'm like, dude, do it, like, you quit being dumb, like, do it. Finally you did it. You're like, dude, I got in. I was like, see, I told you. Put in the good word for my boys.
Right.
Know?
And that's crazy too, how, you know, just saying that, you know, I met you through TikTok, which just seems to be a trend on this show. Everybody I meet on TikTok somehow, but, you know, me and you met on TikTok. We did the podcast. We set up this turkey camp with one another, had a blast. You tell me about the Nexus thing from ATA. You go a couple years, talk me into doing it. I get in. And now look at us. We're still buddies, but that group has gotten bigger as people that talk all the time and, you know, interact with each other on other things and collab during spring and deer hunts and stuff like that. Like, it's just cool how that's come full circle and we're all buddies and stuff. You know what I mean? I think it's pretty cool.
Oh, for sure. That's the cool thing about, you know, that whole program. I feel like for the most part, as far as like, I mean, I hate to say this because obviously some of the ambassadors are going to watch it, but like, for like, you know what I'm saying though?
I
like
get what you're saying, man.
Top group kind of deal there. Like, we're all like on a first name basis. You know what I mean? It's kind of cool to be a part of, like, you know, you're like, oh yeah, the guy that runs it, you know him well. You know what I mean? Like, you talk to him. I think that's pretty cool. And I don't know, having a part in it's pretty fun too. I mean, obviously we all what's that? I
said just getting to share camp with you guys and like Ron and Victor and everybody. And it, you know, it's even crazier too. I don't know if he listens to this show or not, but last year, me killing my bird right off the bat when I got to Michigan, I got to go hunt with other people and film and call and that sort of stuff. And, you know, the first couple of years of doing that camp up there, you know, Victor's boy, Anton, he never really talked much. You know, he was a quiet guy. He's always kind of laid back, reserved kind of guy. We get in the woods with one another, start chasing turkeys, and we're looking over, talking and stuff. And I'm like, I'm getting to know this guy that I've been around for a couple of years now. And like by the end of the hunt, you know, we're laughing and, you know, nucks because we're chasing birds. And it was just, it's cool. And then I met Spittler's buddy that I can't remember his name now. That came. I went with him the last morning there and almost got it done with him at Spittler's family place. Like, it's just fun to get to hunt with new people, and then next thing you know, you're buddies with them. You know what I mean?
Doesn't take much.
No, it doesn't, man. Well, buddy, I appreciate you taking the time to join us and talk deer hunting and turkey hunting and having Weston on and sharing his story about his deer, man. I really appreciate you taking your time out to come talk to us, bud.
Oh yeah, no problem, man. It was nice chatting with you guys.
Absolutely.
Hopefully see you guys in the spring. You're more than welcome too.
Don't tell him that.
Yeah, don't tempt me with a good time because we'll get you down here and I mean We can work something out. That's for sure.
Come on up, dude. More than welcome.
Tell everybody where they can find you and Mid-State Outdoors on the old social media.
Yeah, Facebook, Instagram. We have a Twitter that I never do anything with.
I think I got banned on there.
And obviously YouTube. Yeah, we're kind of steady, kind of picking up subscribers and stuff like that on there. But we a lot of people slacked, including myself, and didn't kill on film this year. And we got a couple other videos. I finally just received Spiller's old lady's film from her deer, so I'm going to be putting that together probably sometime this week, getting that up this weekend. And then I was talking to Sobel today about because it was like his first year, he went full trad and just did that, and he didn't kill on film. But I was like, I feel like it's pretty cool. Like, let's do up a video. You had so many
absolutely
on film, and let's do like a kind of like a backstory type video, and kind of just get it out there. And so we were kind of working together today, back and forth, talking about maybe some ideas to put together a video for that for him. So
awesome.
And then this year, obviously, basically everyone's got some like property improvements they want to do. So I think like this winter / coming into the springtime, maybe we'll have some filler footage of, kind of ideas for our properties and, do it like explaining kind of what we're doing type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how that goes. I know when we've done that in the past, it doesn't really get that many views, but it's still at least something out there, it's different, than the typical, like, hey, this buck's coming in, we're shooting it. Yeah.
Right. I mean, a lot of people, especially, if they get on there and watch some of your guys' content and know that is still part of your content, and they're like, hey, these guys are killing a bunch of deer. Maybe we should pay attention when they tell us something that's not like hunting,
For sure. And that's I watch that stuff all the time. Like when I get on YouTube half the time, it's like either like property improvement or, obviously you have to watch the typical YouTube channels, but
I find myself, if like the hinge cutting, I'll watch 5 or 6 different dudes hinge cut and then try to figure out, or cutting, which I've not found anybody doing the rut and strut zones like I'm doing. But like I need to do a video on that, because you think people aren't paying attention to it because it's not got that wow factor of success right then. But you, like you said, you do a backstory on like, hey, we improved this property and this is why this deer ran this or these turkeys. I'm all about the backstory. I'm all about the hard work.
Dude, like that was kind of my thing. Like I'm gonna make sure I like film all the stuff I do back here, because then when I kill a good one out of here, it's gonna be like, all right, 3 years ago I was just telling my buddy on his podcast, because I did all this stuff and I could hold him there.
I want to get into more of a storytelling on the YouTube. I mean, you guys have all seen our video. Most of our videos are short, to the point. That is kind of how this generation's watching stuff on YouTube. They want it quick. They want it bang, bang, bang. It's over with. But I was talking to John Ruiz, and he has got me talked into this storytelling thing. Like, I want to do it because I see the way that they portray it in Crimson Trail on some of these episodes, and it's just like, man, I really want to get into this too, without going like too far into the weeds. I still want to make it my own, but still kind of in the genre of storytelling. I mean, I don't want to like take it to any festivals or nothing like that. I just want to put it up for people to see. But I think it'd be kind of cool to get into something like that.
So the one year I did a lot of brainstorming, like, how do we want to like set ourselves apart? And that was like my thought. And I laid out a video and I was like, it's not going to cut it, dude. We're going to get no views. I mean, it depends where you're actually putting your videos out. You know what I mean? On YouTube, I can tell you right now, though, about 10-ish minute videos, you're getting way more views than if you post a 30-minute video. I promise you. Which sucks, because I catch myself a lot of times like cutting out a bunch of stuff that obviously you could have, like, I have, like, when I cut down a video, I have probably, no bullshit, an hour's worth of film that I'm cutting down into a 10-minute segment. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it does suck because you cut out, like, you're like, man, should I put that in? And then you're like, no, I kind of want to stick to this, which kind of sucks, but I mean, it is what it is.
Well, like that first video that we collabed on with turkeys, dude, I
Yep.
bet you we had 5 hours worth of footage.
Oh yeah.
I think it's actually like one of my longest videos. It's like 24 minutes.
Yep.
From the first time I came up, and then there was a pause, and I came like a month later or whatever it was, and took a bird. Like it was, we had so much to work with, but you filming and Adam filming and me throwing some stuff in there too. Like it was just like, holy crap, like we got so much to go off of. It could have been 45 minutes to I mean, just the one hunt at Spittler's farm where they were all roosted up behind the deer blind. I bet you we got 5 hours worth of footage from that day.
And honestly, any serious turkey hunter, dude, you could have cut that down to an hour and posted it. And we would all watch it and be like, oh, this is awesome. You know what I mean? But for YouTube, you can't do that because no one's going to sit there and be like, dude, this guy posted a freaking hour-long video of this. Like, you know.
This bird done gobbled 100 times.
Yeah. Like, all right, that's enough gobbling for now. Shoot the damn thing,
Oh, that's cool, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on and sharing your night with us, buddy. And we'll be back here again next week for episode 98. Speaking of the man, Brandon Townsend will be our next episode. So get to talk a little Desperado with him, talk about how his season went, talk turkey calls, all that good stuff. But we'll be back here again next week.
Hell yeah, man.
See you.
Thanks for having us.